going to be talking about in what ways does the magazine use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products. So we have used the typical sight and sound masthead here, which is typical of a magazine front cover, as every magazine front cover tends to have the title of their magazine on it. We also use the tagline, the International Film Magazine, up here just above the masthead, to conform to the sight and sound conventions, as we wanted it to look as realistic as possible, and all the sight and sound magazine front covers have this. However, we subverted it and created half of the sentence black and half of the sentence white, as you can see here. We did this to fit with our background image, as we thought this worked effectively. We also inserted up here in the left-hand corner the BFI logo, as this is also another generic convention of the front cover of the magazine, and we felt that this was essential in order for our front cover to look realistic. However, most of the sight and sound front covers have the title of the edition towards the bottom of the front cover, whereas we had the titles on one half of our director's face, as we thought we would subvert the norm and make ours look a lot more creative and realistic, and we thought this worked really effectively. We also used our director on our front cover, which is a typical convention of the Sight and Sound magazine front cover, as most of them usually either have the main character of the film or the director of the film. And we thought, as we had the main character on our film poster, we would use the director on our sight and sound front cover, as often this is what the readers want, as they want to get to know the director as well. We subverted the typical convention though, as our director is a woman, so we thought a woman would be the more appropriate gender due to the plot of the film, and we felt that she would be more able to relate with the femme fatale and therefore be more able to create the complexity of the character and the characters around her. This subverts the typical convention of the Sight and Sound magazine front covers, as typically the directors are females. Although most of the Sight and Sound front covers have a white border around the edge, such as you can see here, we have decided to just place a line border around the edge, as we wanted our photo to take up the whole of the page, as we felt that this would make our front cover look a lot more effective and subtly differentiate ours from the others, which could attract the audience. We use the typical cover lines at the bottom down here, as readers want to know about what else is in the magazine, and this could potentially attract more of an audience to read about our film if they're also interested in other articles that are in the magazine, and this is a typical convention of all of the Sight and Sound magazine front covers. We also included a barcode and placed it just over halfway down on the right hand side of the front cover, as this is where all the new Sight and Sound magazines are placing it, and we wanted it to fit in. We use the barcode as this is a typical convention of the Sight and Sound magazine front cover, as it reinforces the fact that you have to pay for it to find out what's inside. However, we didn't want to put the price on the front cover, as we didn't want to deter our audience and we wanted to keep them interested, which subverts the typical convention of the magazine front cover, as most of them have the price next to the barcode. We also subverted the typical convention of colour. We made our picture in black and white, as we felt that this conformed to the typical convention of the film noir genre, and it would help people to work out the genre of the film from just looking at the front cover of the magazine. And we also took this idea from the Clint Eastwood Sight and Sound edition, as you can see here. We thought the grainy effect placed on the photo of him was really effective, so we thought that we would use this on our director too, as you can see here. Along with the David Fincher edition of Sight and Sound, we thought, as you can see here, we thought that we would have our director looking into the audience's eyes, showing that they are approachable and suggesting that the audience is equal to them and can therefore relate to them, as this would be a reason for someone to purchase the magazine, as this is what we wanted. In conclusion, I think that our poster has developed and subverted many of the conventions, but I think all in all it would attract the audience and it works really effectively.